Welcome to another video. This week you join me at the famous Berners Hall Fishery where I go and search for my new PB. Well, it is 5:30 in the morning and I'm already running late. I was meant to be leaving about 5 o'clock. It's going to take about 2.5 hours to get there, but obviously probably going to stop for some food and obviously got to allow for some traffic, but I've not seen this time of day for a long time. So after making a quick pit stop for a nice healthy snack, I headed on to the famous Berners Hall Fishery. Now look at this place, it's absolutely stunning. It's a 24-acre gravel pit and it is home to some absolute lumps. There's one small island to one side of the lake, and of course I was raring to go. Oh, what a day. I am knackered. No, but in all seriousness, I was up till 2 o'clock in the morning this morning editing last Saturday's video, so if you haven't checked that, go check it out. Please leave a like. My alarm went off at 5, I've had 3 hours sleep. So after pulling myself together, getting down onto the lake, I managed to get into peg 4, which I was very happy with, and it was time to get some bait out after finding a spot. Well. Berners bloody Hall. How the hell have we ended up here? Unbelievable. I can't believe I'm fishing at the famous Berners Hall. You know, it's fast growing in popularity and it's very rapidly becoming one of, if not the best, day to get carp fisheries in the UK. There's some absolute rockers in here, and I mean it. And even the fish that are like 12, 15 pound, some of them are just more beautiful than anything you'll catch from other fisheries. Yeah, there's some real crackers in here, some proper scaly bangers. And there's also, believe it or not, there's at least 150, if not 250s in here. There's a 90 pound cat, there's a handful of 40s, a good head of 30s. And yeah, I just know that if any one of those 3 rods goes, I could be hooked up into what could be a lifetime UK PB, potentially even a lifetime PB from anywhere. So yeah, mental. I'm here for 48 hours. I can't wait to get my teeth into this. Let's do it. Now, just because this lake is absolutely jam-packed full of massive fish doesn't mean that it's an easy water. By no means is it easy. It's a massive reservoir, but basically it's a working reservoir, so the water levels are constantly rising and falling. And yeah, there's a lot of weed in patches. There's an island to my right. I'm quite lucky actually. When I turned up, basically you go to the shop, you check in, they give you the gate code at 9:30, you come in and you can start fishing from 10. You basically just have to turn up, walk around, see if you can see any fish moving, and ask people. Well, you can see if people are leaving or not, so if there's any swims free you can jump in them. If not, you might have to wait half an hour for somebody to move off at 10 o'clock. Luckily, when I turned up, nobody was in this peg 4, so I'm very, very happy with it. This is exactly where I wanted to be. In fact, when I was setting up, I saw one fish. This is funny. I saw one fish jump. It's sort of like, it didn't jump. It sort of like rolled. It showed itself, and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting. It's not that far out." Anyway, I was speaking to the guy to the right and the left of me, and the guy to my left, he's had 2. He's been here for a few days. He's been here since Sunday. It is Wednesday now, so he's had a couple. The guy to my right, he was actually in this swim yesterday, but when he came down here, he wanted to fish in peg 3 because it's been fishing really well. There's been a lot of fish moving around the island over the last week or so, and he knew that, and he wanted to fish in there. And when he turned up, he couldn't get in it. There was somebody in there, so it became available. So he jumped straight in it, and obviously left this peg. And I spoke to him. I said, "Oh, have you had anything from this peg, or how much bait have you put out, that sort of stuff?" And he said he's not had anything, but he lost one at 18.5 wraps. Just remember that, 18.5 wraps, he lost one. And I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, weeded him up." But he was like, "Yeah, scream and run," hooked into it, straight into the weed and done me. I was like, "Okay, no worries." So yeah, I've jumped in here, and as I'm setting up, like I say, I'm just about to start chucking out my lead and finding my spot. And that's when I saw that fish roll, and I was like, it doesn't look too far out. So I've casted the lead over to, because I was already up, I was finding my spot, so I casted my lead over to where the fish rolled. I didn't have my rod set up or anything, so I didn't chuck a PVA bag. I was just literally just trying to work out my swim. And I casted just past where it rolled. Anyway, it went down, and I was like, yeah. And then as I pulled back, I wound in once, and it was like it felt normal. Then it went ding, 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 ding. I was like, that's interesting. Reeled again, ding, 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 ding. Found a gravel bar or a gravel patch, gravel spot. So I'm like, okay, that's interesting. So I've reeled it in. There's a gravel spot out there, 18.5 wraps. And I was like, that's where he said he had his run at 18.5 wraps. He found that gravel spot, and that's what I found. And then I remembered, when I found that gravel spot, I clipped it up, and it was just where that fish rolled. I was like, this is all adding up. He had a run at 18.5. I found a gravel bar at 18.5. The fish showed at 18.5. I was like, that's my spot. No brainer. So basically, I've put about 12 spoms over the top of that. I'll show you my mix now. It's basically boilies. There's 18mm fish, 14mm fruit and nut. There's chops in there of each flavour. There's hemp. There's fruit and nut pellet, sweet corn, and then there's a fruit and nut sauce, OG fish sauce, and a bit of flat spot as well. So there's a massive, and some magic dust. So there is a massive load of good nutrient flavourings, attractions in that mix. Yeah, so I've got 12 spoms over on that gravel patch. I've got my left hand rod fishing to the left of it, my right hand rod's fishing to the right of it, and then my right hand rod is on an 8-foot zig. It is a black bit of foam with a yellow screw. Of course it is, that's my colours. That's what's done me well in the past. The only thing I do worry a little bit this time though is it's barbless hooks only here, which I'm okay with fishing barbless hooks. My old club used to be barbless hooks, that's fine. But when I'm fishing zigs, if I've got a 50-pounder on a zig with a barbless hook, oh my gosh. I've only just put the tail rubber on as well, so I'm hoping it drops that lead so it doesn't get stuck in the weed. It can come up in the water. I swear to God, if the lead doesn't come off, I can't even dread to think what could happen. Let's not talk about it. But there we go. If I sound a bit different in this video, it's because I'm wearing my mic. It's quite windy here. It's quite an open space, so I thought it might be a bit more. It might make a bit more sense to wear a mic and go down that route. But yeah, I've not had much sleep, so I'm probably going to try and get my head down. It's not too warm. That's another thing I wanted to touch on, the weather as well. It's quite sunny at the moment, but it's also overcast. There's a lot of clouds, but obviously the sun's shining through. There's a small wind, and it's trickling right down into that bottom end of the lake. So I'm hoping that will take the fish down that end. And yeah, it's about 20-21 degrees. I think it's pretty good. But apart from that, I've not really seen. I've seen a gentleman over there catch a fish, and actually, since I've been here, one of the guys 2 swims to my left has caught one. But apart from that, it's been quite quiet. Here you can see all the different weed that's in this lake. I've got a clear spot here, so I've got the waders. Obviously, as soon as I hook up, I'm going to get the waders straight on and sort of walk out. The thing is, I can't go too far because it gets deep pretty quick. I just got to stand in the margin there. But you've got to remember as well, when the water's up here, it comes all the way up to here. But obviously, where the water's down at the moment, it's almost created like a beach. So yeah, I've got the bivvy down here, got the front here, and no need for the overwrap, I don't think. I think we're in for a beautiful couple of days, but I'll bring you on my journey, and hopefully we can have a couple of fish. So with all 3 rods set up, out and waiting for a bite, it was just a case of watching the water and seeing for any signs of fish. Well, look at this flat spot that's being created out there. Nobody's cast any bait out, and no boats have gone out, and it looks like the wind is blowing that way, so it looks like it's coming from, if I stand to where I've been casting from here, and the flat spot starts here, which is just to the right of my spot. My spot's sort of like here, so I'm wondering, is there fish grabbing down on my bait? Oh, imagine. My heart's already pumping and I haven't even got a run yet. Oh, that could be a sign of fish feeding on my spot. Right, so just a quick update then. It is about 5:30 now in the afternoon, but sort of early. Is 5:30 afternoon or early evening? I always thought it was 6 p.m. I thought 6 p.m. was evening. I don't know. Anyway, it's 5:30. I've managed to get about an hour's sleep. But it's not because I've been catching fish. I don't know. Since I've arrived, I've seen 1 fish roll, and that was when I first got here, and it rolled out to where I'm fishing. Again, I've still got those 2 on the solid bags, that one on the zig. They've been out the whole time. I haven't touched them. I put 12 spoms over the top. I'm probably going to put another 12 over before I go to bed tonight. I know I've been told in here that they love the bait, so just keep it going in, but I don't want to make that mistake of just filling it in too early and just killing it. I'd rather just add to it as I go, and try and sort of get a bite, and then towards the end of the session, if we haven't had anything, then I can fill it in. But yeah, I think there's been... Whoa, what is that? There's a huge bird out there, and it looks like it's chasing 2 seagulls, or the seagulls are chasing it. It's huge. What is that bird? Well, the seagulls are half its size. Probably less than that. Why are they chasing it? Wow. I don't know what that bird is. But anyway, yeah, I've been watching the water, and I've just not really seen anything happen. No signs of carp showing. Yeah, I think one of the guys opposite, he's had a fish out. The guy earlier this morning, 2 swims down from me, he had a fish out. But apart from that, I don't think there's been a lot happening. Yeah, it seems to be quite tricky. But anyway, I'm going to touch back in with you before I turn in at night for bed. Did that make sense? Turn in for bed. I could have just said that before I turn in for the night. You know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, believe it or not, I've never had a pot noodle before. Yes, you heard me right. I've never had a pot noodle. So, on this session, I decided to bring myself some pot noodles because everyone's like, oh, whenever I go fishing, I just take pot noodles. And I'm like, I've never had one, so I want to join the pot noodle crew. Although I've gone for 3 flavours that aren't exactly classics. In fact, even though I've never had pot noodles, I know the normal ones are like the green ones, the yellow ones, the blue ones. I haven't gone for any of that. I've gone for different ones. So I've got a pink one, which is peri peri chicken. They're not the king noodles, by the way. They were too expensive because usually they're on offer. Tesco's club card for £1, but they weren't. So this one looks nice. Grey one, sticky rib. Love a sticky rib. And then finally, we've got this one. I'm not going to eat them all tonight. Look at this one, purple one. Doner kebab. Mental, isn't it? So, yeah, I thought I'd try them out, give them a go. I'm probably going to have a couple of cheeseburgers, to be honest with you. I'll probably have a couple of cheeseburgers and a pot noodle. And I'll let you know how I get on with them. Don't know which one I'm going to have first, to be honest with you. Chicken, rib, or I'll probably go for the doner kebab, to be fair. But yeah, I'll let you know how it goes. Hopefully the next clip isn't of me rating a pot noodle. Hopefully it's me holding a fish, but yeah, it's looking quite tricky at the minute. Well, we are slowly starting to lose light. Sun's going down over the back barely any wind, and it's such a nice evening. And the pot noodle was alright, to be fair. It said it came with a hot sachet of sauce, and it was like, if you like spice, add the sauce in. And I was like, how hot can it be? And phew, it blew me head off. But no fish to report, and I've spotted another load of bait out, so there's plenty of bait out there. I decided not to redo the solid bag rods. I was happy with them when they first went out, so I've left them. I'm going to leave them all night tonight, and I'll leave them all morning tomorrow, and I'll redo them about midday. I did, however, recast a zig straight back out, 18.5 wraps, and yeah, that's just off the side of the baited spot. Yeah, so there we go. Well, Berners Hall didn't do me anything on the first day. Let's see if it'll do me anything tonight. Well, after a very uneventful night, I woke up to beautiful low-lying mist across the top of the water here at Berners. An absolute stunning morning, but yeah, I hadn't had any fish. It was a very quiet night, but I did, however, get some good sleep, and also, I'm pretty sure that kettle's boiled. Oh, right, well, good morning. Kettle's pretty much boiled. I'm gonna have myself a cup of coffee. I'm trying to stay positive because I've been here now for nearly 24 hours. It is now the morning of the second day. I don't know if this is a good idea doing this in here. It might make everything wet, I don't know. But yeah, it's pretty much boiled. But yeah, I just wanted to say, like, I feel a little bit gutted that nothing's happened in the first 24 hours. And I did say to myself that I might potentially move swim if nothing happened in the first 24 hours. But it needs to give me a real reason to move swim. And what I mean by that is, last night, I mean, these guys that have been here for a few days anyway have been saying nothing's really coming out at night. Most of the bites are coming out during the day. And yesterday I did see a couple of fish move out, sort of out in front of me. I'm going to turn this off because I'm pretty sure that's done. But I did see a couple of fish yesterday move in front of me, but apart from that, there's not really been a lot of action. Obviously, I've not had any bites. I've not even had a single beep or anything, to be honest with you. I wasn't expecting much through I wasn't expecting anything through the night. I was hoping I could have nailed a fish yesterday during the day, but it didn't happen. And like I say, I've been contemplating the move. But I just feel like if I make the move, again, there needs to be a reason why I make the move, and it wouldn't be because I wouldn't be moving because I think that I've got a better chance of catching in that swim. It would just be I'd just be moving. Sorry, I can't function. I need to have my coffee. What I'm saying is, it would be a gamble to move. Do I want to take that gamble? I don't think so, because I know I'm in a good swim here. I know there's fish out there, and in fact, to be fair, wherever you fish on this lake, there's so many fish in here. I think any of these swims are capable of producing a fish. Now, I know, obviously, being on the fish is important, but that's what I'm saying is, like, there's no signs that there are fish down in that swim that I could potentially move to. So, with that said, I think I'm going to stay here. But what I am going to do is put a bit more time into making sure that I'm fishing properly. And what I mean by that is, like, even though I'm confident about where I'm fishing, where those rigs are placed, I'm just going to double check. I'm going to chuck my marker out again, find some clear spots again, or just chuck it over just to make sure I'm definitely on that clear spot. I know I am, but I just for reassurance, do you know what I mean? Because then I know that today, when I put my rigs out, I'm more confident than I am now. Even though I'm confident now that they are where I want them, I'm not confident of a bite, and I think that's just because there's not much happening on the lake. But anyway, I don't want to waffle on too much. I'm gonna leave those rods out for a couple of hours, reel them in. It'd be interesting to see what sort of state or condition the bait is in. I'm hoping that there's still bait on there, because if there's not, then I'll be heartbroken. But yeah, then I'm going to decide. I might only chuck, I don't know, I might take the Zig off and I might put a D-rig on, to be honest with you. I'm just having a little think about my options. I'm going to enjoy this coffee, chill out for the next couple of hours. Hopefully something does happen and we get a nice morning bite. But like I said, I'm just trying to stay positive. And like I said in last week's video, that's true. And in this week's video, it's even more true. One fish here could change a session completely. That's all I need is one bite, one fish. And it could be an unbelievable session. So yeah, that's it. That's the plan for today. I might not film so much today. I know it's my last sort of full day. I'm off tomorrow morning. We're sort of going into the second 24 hours now, but I want to try and really focus as much as I can on trying to catch a fish here. So yeah, if there's not much filming today, it's probably just going to be foodie bits. But well, hopefully there's lots of filming of me with fish. But yeah, we'll see what happens. But that's the way it is. That's how it's going down. Right, here is the first foodie bit of the day. We got some bacon, and don't worry, it's not burnt. I just like my bacon really crispy. So that to me is not burnt. That is nice crispy bacon. Might get some sauce on it and then get it down my neck. But that is my view. I mean, it's a beautiful view, and let's be honest, it's such a nice day again. The wind has changed direction. It's now pushing down that way. It was blowing that way the whole time yesterday. So I'm hoping if the fish were up that end, which there's no signs that there is, because like I say, not many people were catching. I think only 2 or 3 fish were out yesterday. And then obviously the wind's changed. It's coming back down this way. So hopefully it will bring the fish down and they'll pass my bait as they go. Right, well, I don't know if I explained myself properly earlier, but when I was talking about moving to swim, I just want to quickly touch on, I've woke up a little bit now, so I can actually speak and make sense. But Shaka, who's to my right, who was in this swim before me, he did 24 hours in here, had a run, decided to move into that swim to my right, and he's had nothing. And I spoke to him and I was like, I'm considering moving across into the swim that you're in now, one to my right, which is closer to the island, peg 3. And he said to me, to be honest with you, he's gutted that he moved. He wish he stayed in 4. And I was thinking, you know what? This is what I was talking about. If I move in swim, there needs to be a reason for me to move, because moving for the sake of the fact that I haven't caught anything in this swim isn't a good enough reason. I need to be moving because there's signs of fish, or because someone's catching, or because it's obvious that the fish are there. So, because otherwise all I'm doing is jumping in another swim and I'm absolutely blind and I've got a blank canvas to start from again. Whereas I've already built a swim here. Do you know what I mean? I hope that makes sense. But anyway, like I say, I know I'm in a good swim. He did give me about a pint of maggots as well, so that could be interesting. I might whip up a solid bag of maggots or just put them in my solid bag. And yeah, and I'm tempted as well to put a hardened hooker on with a topper. So I might do that. I might do a solid bag rig with a hardened hooker, a little topper, and then a solid bag with maggots in. That might be a good way to go. But yeah, people are turning up now, and I think to be fair, I think somebody's already jumped in that swim anyway. People just rocked up, and like yesterday, I guess it's the same every day here. When they let people in at 10 o'clock, everyone just comes in and just runs to their swims, or the empty swims. So yeah, so give it about an hour, and then the rods are coming in, we'll redo them, and hopefully we can spark something. Alright, well I said I wasn't going to film much today because I was going to focus on the fish, and the left hand rod is in, and it's not because I've got a fish. I reeled in to redo that rod, and as I've reeled in, I've given it a couple of turns. I was fishing in the clear spot because I give it a couple of turns and it was fine, and all of a sudden it locked up, and I was like, and I was in a massive weed bed. So it went so tight, and I'm trying to lift it up and trying to drag it through, and I can't get it through the weeds. So Jamie next door came over to give me a hand. I got up there with the rod and I was trying to get it out the snag, and I was like ripping the rod up and winding quick and trying to get it through. And I was like, it's going to snap. So I just ended up tying it up, put my hand on the spool and just walking back and walking back and walking back. And I just said to him, like, he was like, oh, I thought you had a big fish on. I was like, I wish I did, mate, but I think I'm in the weed. And I've just been walking back and reeling in and walking back and reeling in and walking. And I've managed to get it all the way back in. So that gives me complete confidence that this line is so strong. But I got everything back. I got the PVA bag rig back, and the magic bean's not being touched. So it's very interesting. My line's really strong. My rigs are decent. And I ended up bringing most of the weeds down there that I brought in. You can see the fresh stuff there, that's what I dragged in. And then up here, we've managed to sort of like clear it all out. There's actually a PVA bag rig here. So I ended up, I think what happened is I hooked that, or I hooked the weed. And as I've been reeling in, I've just been dragging it through the weed that's out there. So yeah, there we go. At least I've cleared a spot, but well, it's just around midday now. It's definitely bite time. So the guy in the swim, 2 swims down, he's got one in the sling. Jamie next door to me, he's got one on at the moment. It's doing him in the weeds, so he's just trying to sort that out. And I've just had my first, I had 3 beeps on, I think it was my zig, to be honest. So yeah, I had 3 beeps. I haven't redone them yet. I need to hurry up and get this out, but this is what's going out. It's just a simple D-rig. I'm not going to put the solid bag out, but it's a hardened hooker with the OG fish with a little yellow topper. And obviously, because of the weed, I'm going to get a bit of foam on it around the hook. I've wrapped it up to 19 wraps, so it's going to go out on the spot where I put all the bait out. Just over, I have been fishing at 18.5, so I'm going to go 19, just to make sure I'm well clear of that weed. Right, that's my second rod out, and I'm so happy with that. I've got 2 rods out, so one's now on a solid bag, one's on that D-rig with the hard hooker and the yellow topper, and I'm just going to reel in and redo the zig. I'm going to keep it on a zig. I wasn't going to, but I am going to keep it on there just because I want 2 bottom baits and then 1 up in the water, just to keep my options open and to cover more than one basis. But like I said earlier, it is bite time, because a couple of swims down from me landed a 30, what was it, 33, I think it was, 32, 33. And my neighbour, Jamie, has just nailed a 41-pound common. Take a look at this. Absolute stunning fish. It was a bucket for him. His previous PB was 37, I think. So Jamie, if you're watching this, mate, happy days. Well done. I'm absolutely buzzing for you. Because at one point when he was playing it got himself caught up in the weed, and I just, you know, when you don't want to say anything, and I was just like, oh, please get it out, please get it out. And he pulled it through, and well done, that man. 41-pound common. Look at that, beautiful. I was attached, my hook was attached to another rig and some more line. So it goes to show you how weedy it is out there, because people are just losing rigs and line left, right and centre. I had 2 rods that were attached to other people's line. That's mental, isn't it? You think how much gear is out. You could probably, if you got every single bit of gear that's lost in the weed out there, you could open up a warehouse, a tackle shop warehouse. Mental. Well, I've just had a sniff on the zig. About 3 or 4 beeps. And it went dead. And I know there's swans over there, but when the beeps were coming in, the swans were over there, nowhere near it. I thought it was going to go. It didn't, which might just be a liner. So after that heart-throbbing moment, absolutely nothing came of it. It was time to get some more bait back out on the spot, just to try and induce a bite and try and finally nail a fish. So after watching and waiting and a bit more watching and a bit more waiting and a bit more waiting and a little bit more watching, it was finally time for another bacon roll. Cheers. In all seriousness though, I've been stood here watching the water, eating bacon sarnies, but I honestly just cannot see signs of fish. Anywhere on the lake, and today, apart from the guy to the left of me who have had a couple out, I've not seen anybody opposite catch. The guy that's moved into the swim next to me, peg 3 to the island. He's not had a sniff. And we're well into the afternoon now. In fact, in a couple of hours, it's going to start getting dark. And I'm starting to think if it doesn't happen today, before the sun goes down, it might not happen at all. There's a small window of possibility that I might get a bite in the morning, but I've got to pack away right on bite time. So you know I'm leaving the rods out till lastminute.com. You know, it's always hard when you're sort of sat there waiting and trying to watch the water, you can't see anything, and you're sort of sat on your hands just waiting for your rod to rip off. It's just a simple game of fishing, isn't it? Sometimes you can go to a place, somebody might jump in a swim after me and have it off. This swim might not do another bite for another couple of weeks. There's fishing. Although I still do feel like I'm in a very favourable spot. The wind's blowing right down at me now. And I do feel like I've done all I can. I'll probably get a bit more bait out there before I go to bed tonight, and then I'll leave it until the morning. I'm not gonna redo the rods. I'm happy with them. They're out exactly where I want them. Hit clip with everyone. It's just a waiting game. It really is just a waiting game. But like I said, just one fish from Berners could change the session completely, and could be my forever PB.
Well, with the sun absolutely beaming down and the wind starting to slow down, there was only one thing on my mind.
It is hot. Might be too hot.
Well, these two swims over here have become available. That one there and that one there. I heard a big argument going on between those two boys over there, actually. Oh, we paid all this money, we haven't caught nothing. Yeah, well, we ain't going to catch nothing here, are we? Well, let's go and make a move. I think they've moving over towards the tire wall, I think. But they weren't very happy. Yeah, they're not expecting any fish to come out from those swims. Like I said, you know, even though the wind's blowing down that way, it's warm. There's a lot of fish in here, and I genuinely think it's a massive amount of it is down to location. Obviously, if you're fishing where the fish are holding up, you're going to catch more fish. But I can guarantee you, and I'm sure, that there's fish all around this lake. You know, I know there's a lot of factors that go into it, whether the warmth, the wind, the shallow areas, the gravel bars, the weed beds. I know there's so many different factors as to where the fish might hold up, but that's like the general clump of fish. Like, there will be groups of carp that are in a certain place, but there will still be fish around everywhere. It's just fish swim. Fish do swim. You think if there's this many anglers in the you know, fishing as well with 3 rods out, there's a lot of lines in the water. It will push them around the lake. I know it's not a small lake, but the fish do get around. They will swim. Oh, Jamie's reeled in. Looks like he's gone for some sleep. I don't blame him. He's had his 41. He's completed it, hasn't he? Well, obviously, he could go for a 50, but he really doesn't care, does he, if he doesn't catch anything else? So yeah, rods are in. Looks like he's gone for a bit of a kip. But this weather is absolutely stunning. I'm sad to leave, really. I mean, I know the action's not been enthralling, but it's lovely. It is lovely being here. The sun is shining. Happy days.
Well, afternoon is slowly turning into evening. It's about 5:30 now. The sun's moved right round. There's absolutely nothing to report. The most action I've had since I've been here is 3 or 4 beeps on the zig this morning, which could have been a liner. It could have just been weed against a line. You know, it's times like this when I realise that maybe I've jumped into the deep end too quickly. I'm fishing these waters that contain these fish or that hold these fish, and it really does remind me that, you know, if you're not a great carp angler, or if you're not, carp angling is a skill that people have been doing for years, and not anybody can come to a venue like this and just catch a carp. Yes, okay, you can have there is an element of luck to it, but there's also years of experience of going to catching carp, and especially when you come to a venue like this, you have to know what you're doing. And I just don't think I've been fishing long enough to be able to come here and catch a shed load of carp. But to be fair, it was never about catching a shed load of carp. It was about catching one carp that could be my forever PB, and I've come here to do that, and I'm slightly gutted because it's not happening. So I'm touching wood, still hoping and trying to stay positive that it does happen, but I think I need to start coming to this sort of like idea of realising that it might not happen, and maybe this is a venue that I could come back to in 3, 4, 5 years time, but I think it really does humble you, and it makes you realise that when people come here and they catch big fish and have great sessions, again, like I say, there is an element of luck to it, but it really goes to show how good some anglers are. Looks like it's not meant to be for me. The thing is, it's hard to be upset or disappointed because look at where I am. Look at what I'm doing. Look how privileged I am to be sat here fishing this fishery with the sun shining down, a light breeze, just the conditions, being out in nature, enjoying every minute of it. Yes, granted, we've come for the fishing. We haven't come to do it camping, but you can't grumble. It is absolutely beautiful here. It really is. And I would say the only thing missing, the only single thing missing, is a carp that was never guaranteed anyway, was it? Let's be honest. But sometimes you just have to kick back and drink it in, realise where you are and what you're doing, and as much as I want to be disappointed on the fishing front, I find it hard where I'm in such a beautiful place.
Well, as a last resort, I had to do what I had to do. And if you watch Aquatic College, you'll know exactly what I'm doing. This is the fishy, fishy, crab, crab dance. Oh, anything to try and get a bite. And then that was right before, look at this, spotting into this absolute beautiful sunset. Unfortunately, I packed away fishless, but on the way out, of course, I spotted a load of fish in and around the island, but it was too late. My time was up.
Well, unfortunately, that is my time at Berners Hall. It just wasn't meant to be. 48 hours, I had 4 single beeps on the 8-foot zig. I don't know. It was really tough fishing, and it's funny actually because the guy to the left of me, one of them comes up here and fishes up here regularly, and he said it was quiet, to be fair. And basically, between the 4 of them, they were here for 5 days. The guy to the left of me had 2 fish. The other 2 of them had 1 fish, and one guy blanked in 5 days. So the swim to the right of me, peg 3, that goes towards the island, that hadn't done a fish and the whole time I've been there as well. So I just think that unfortunately I must have hit it at a time where it wasn't fishing very well, which is a shame because last week it was fishing really well. It really was. And actually, in fact, T from Parker Baits, he caught a 40 called Danzak, and it turns out that the one that Jamie, who I was fishing next to, the one that he caught, the picture that I showed you, I'll put it on screen again now, was exactly the same fish. So that's come out twice within 2 weeks, which is absolutely crazy, mental. But yeah, just so sort of annoying that it was in the vicinity. I was in the vicinity fishing up for it when it was caught. Would have been lovely to have had that. But fair play to Jamie. Well done for that one, mate. And yeah, I guess I'll be back. It wasn't meant to be. I'm a little bit disappointed. The drive home is going to be a little bit sour, but that's fishing, isn't it? I can't be too disheartened about it. I'm not an over experienced angler. I was fishing a water which, you know, experienced anglers do well on, or even experienced anglers don't do well on sometimes. But by all means, I will definitely come back. It might be 2 years, it might be 3 years, it might be 5 years, but I'll definitely come back, and I'll definitely nail one from Berners Hall. So thank you for watching this one. Not too upset about it, but we move on, we move forward, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. Bish, bash, bosh.